Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lee's notes for Saturday, May 27th, 2017. So I know it's Memorial Day weekend, so I just want a big shout out to all of the veterans that have served. And yeah, just want to just thank you all. And for all the patriots, the American patriots that are locked up, continue to pray for them that these people be released. I understand that Sheriff Mack is in town this weekend, and I believe it's out in Mountain Home. So I want a big shout out to Christy Zito, who brought him in. I hope he gets confronted with some very difficult questions with regards to him being a constitutional sheriff. I'm beginning to think that although he had that one case where he won, I think it was the Prince case, that's mad respect for that. But what has he done since then? You would think with 3,100 counties that there would at least be true constitutional sheriffs in each one of those counties, and then those sheriffs employing deputies that would uphold the Constitution. Obviously, that's not happening. So where are the real constitutional sheriffs? Why aren't you guys stepping up to the plate with regards to the wrongful incarceration and prosecution of those of the American people? My research last night, and I will add to that the fact with the things I have posted based upon some of the research I found last night. And I'm going to mention, let me just do this here so I can see. Okay, 28 USC 2041. It talks about the Treasury and the monies that are deposited through the courts. Take a look at that. That's my post that went up on May 26th at around 11:14 p.m. So everything that I've posted here recently since last night and earlier today, I highly recommend that you guys take a read of that. It should be a real eye-opener for those who don't know, and for those who do know, I think it should be rather encouraging knowing that we are on the right path. There are people in place, these public servants and these order followers that just want to keep us dumbed down, folks. So we just have to continue researching and studying and then sharing that information. There's a lot of posts with regards to Rod Class. I've had the pleasure of speaking with Rod a few years ago, and I do follow him. I've gone back and started looking at some of his previous videos and YouTubes because he was absolutely right when it talks about administrative procedures. That's where we're at. We do not have any lawful judicial courts, and I believe that's where the problem lies, along with the attorneys. And Rod has done extensive research with regards to that within the congressional records, which gives us, the people, the authority to do what we do. And that's why I act the way I do. I try to remain honorable when I go into these courts, but when you are limited in what evidence and what offers of proof that you can bring into the court to give to the jury, and I experienced that here just a few weeks ago. Went to a jury trial. Not that I wanted to go there, but you basically don't have any other recourse to try to find some sort of remedy. The problem there lies in the fact that you have a so-called plaintiff like the state of Idaho. You have a so-called impartial judge, which is not impartial. In fact, the judge and the prosecutor, they collude. They didn't like me using that word, but that's exactly what happens. I mean, they're all paid by the same parties. They're tax dollars, right? And that's money. That's our labor that pays their wages. And so there is no impartiality in these courts. The experience I had with the jury, even selecting them, you have 32 people, and it gets down to 6 people that you are able to choose. Well, one question that I asked them pertained to the Constitution. And you know what? Not one single person was able to say anything. When I mentioned the Constitution, it was like I had 32 people and they all gave me the deer in the headlights look. No one raised their hand. No one even made a comment. As a matter of fact, through my whole that whole process, which I believe is nothing more than just a part of the sham proceeding, and certainly not a jury of my peers, because no one knew anything about the Constitution. You know, the fact that there was one gentleman that was there that knew me from grade school, and he was the first to be released. The prosecution would not have someone who happened to know who I am and know my nature and know me, which is supposed to be a jury of your peers. So the jury, I believe, was pre-selected prior to even the voir dire. I noticed that both the judge and the prosecutor all actually had the jurors all laid out on paperwork. So that's a bit suspect in itself. So the lie, the fraud that's going on, and I will continue to say that because that's exactly what it is. I've not seen any evidence of anything being any different. So yeah. So by the way, I'm scheduled for a so-called sentencing hearing June 8th. So I'm just going to put that out there too. So I'm doing everything I can to just have this whole thing quashed. My letter to the governor, who is the chief executive officer, you know, Butch Otter. We spoke briefly a few weeks ago at the O'Connor Field House. Why haven't you returned why haven't you responded to my letter? You know, the problem lies with the judicial and the legislature. Okay, they cannot be part of that conversation. You are the chief executive of this company called the state of Idaho, and it's all administrative. You know, I do have the research. I am learned in the law. You know, there's plenty of evidence to support what I'm saying. And I wish that you would contact me, you know, and anybody out there listening to this, let it be known. I did send him a letter. I did try to, I am reaching out with regards to this matter. You know, when you can have somebody employed by the Attorney General's office as the communications director, and he gets busted, and I'm just going to leave it at that, okay, but yet still his case gets dismissed. So obviously there is no equal justice under the law. We might all have equal access, as it's stated in the mission statement for the 4th Judicial District, but we certainly don't have justice served equally. So that's another issue too. All of the legislators out there, I encourage you guys to take a look at my page and some of the things that I've posted. Okay, you need to educate yourselves. You know, if you say you're representing the people, it's about time that you start doing that. You know, we're finding that there's no remedy in these courts. You know, it's all about the money. I have evidence and proof of that. As a matter of fact, here's, aside from that U.S. code that I mentioned earlier, here's a document that talks about cash flow management. And look at this. This is all about what happens in the courts and the money, right? So don't tell me that it's about justice. It's nothing but a money-making machine. As a matter of fact, the courts are nothing but banks. And there is a conflict of interest because the judge, the prosecutor, you know, they're all making money off of this thing, whether they want to admit it or not. I know for a fact that there's bonds that are created on these court cases, which they don't want you to know about as well. And what's that all about, right? Where's that money going? So I'm just trying to, let's see, what else do I want to say here? Well, basically, I just want to, I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to really say much more. I really got to get busy to kind of get some things happening here. June 8th is going to come rather quick. And so I just need to keep moving forward on that. I will keep you guys posted with regards to that. The other thing is that, yeah, check out my page. I posted some information out there that I believe would be quite informative, educational, and I just encourage you guys to read, understand, comprehend, rather, okay, where we're at and the necessity for us all as American nationals, okay? I don't claim to be a U.S. citizen, you know, and that's one thing you all should look at as well, because that particular entity is a federal slave, okay? Get that, federal slave, you know, and I'm nobody's slave, you know, that went out long ago. So nobody owns my body, contrary to what these prosecutors may think and say and act, you know. So when we grasp that, folks, I think that's when we begin to see total changes happening. But it's not going to happen if we don't all come together and start looking at the real law, and knowing that the statutes and codes that are being enforced upon us, that is not the real law. It's the color of law. So I would prefer to have a de jure government. I'm sick and tired of this de facto thing that's going on, because that has not been working out. And so those that understand those words, and I would encourage you to look them up. Okay, de facto and de jure. The Idaho Code 7-1303 subsection 3 speaks on that. So I'm not just making this stuff up, you guys. Anyway, you guys have a blessed weekend, and be safe. And I'll be playing some music later today. It's going to be interesting. Pencil Bennett and my friend Dale Wilson out at the out in Boise. I'm just going to say that. If you guys want to know where it's at, hit me up. I'll let you know. It's a small little venue. It's a fun little spot, and it's in Boise, and it's early at like 3 p.m. It's a couple hours, so it's happening during the day. You guys, enjoy your weekend. Take care.